You're watching CRE Radio and TV. I'm your host, Howard Klein. In today's video, we have a bit of a counterpoint regarding whether or not profits clauses should cover internet sales in retail leases. And remember, later on in the video, you'll have an opportunity to participate in a confidential poll on that very same question. We'll be right back. This show is brought to you by The Broker List, the CRE community's first free online platform for finding brokers, deals, services, and vendors. And Quantum Listing is the new mobile crowdsourced real estate listing app for commercial real estate agents, owners, and tenants.
Well, one of the hot topics is internet sales. And from the landlord's perspective, the landlord wants the tenant to pay a percentage of their sales in rent. And the tenants have always said that if they have internet sales and they're burgeoning, that those should not be included in their gross sales for purposes of the landlord getting rent. And so there is a lot of back and forth of, you're using my real estate. Why is it that I should not be able to benefit from those sales that you somehow get from using my real estate? So there's a lot of back and forth on that.
All right, so that's what the landlord's looking back and saying, hey, you're using my real estate, you're making sales, should be included in the percentage rent provision. Well, what is, from the tenant's perspective, what is your response?
Well, my perspective is a pragmatic one, which is that I'm not sure how the sales are accounted for, and it may be that the internet sales go up to the mother company as opposed to being given to the credit being given to the individual store. So I am concerned about committing to that because I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to do this financially with the way that my records are.
Well, from my perspective, which would be both the landlord and tenant, to me it seems that it really depends upon the nexus of the sale to the store location. A perfect example would be, I'm doing this on the fly, I bought some suits at Casual Mail, which is now XL something another. They're DXL, right. And I will sometimes, the sale is online and I'll order the suit online and then I will have it shipped to the store. Well, under those circumstances, I think the transaction, while it may have been done on the internet, they're using the store. And that should fall within a percentage rents provision.
And that is, of course, the landlord's perspective. Once you start using my store to benefit your internet sales, then I should get a share of that.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, and that's my landlord hat. On the other hand, if the sale is totally unrelated to a brick and mortar location, I don't think the landlord should have any say-so on what that sale was.
Right. I think that the three things that you think about when you think of a nexus is, was it paid for here? Was it picked up here? And was it stored here? Right? Those are the things that you think about generally as a landlord or a tenant when you're thinking about whether there is a connection to the real estate. But as a tenant, I go back to this concept of, I'm not sure what the records show. And so I'm not sure that I can account for that in my percentage sales, just as a practical matter.
It also seems to me that to some extent this may relate to a use tax consideration.
Right.
If there's sales tax because you have a physical location and the retailer has to pay that sales tax, then it seems to me that the landlord should be entitled to a percentage of that sale.
Oh, I totally agree. I will argue that any nexus at all, and then at the end of the day, I've spent a lot of money building my real estate for you to use for your sales, and I think that when we identify. Even, Ruth said the three things, and the other thing is filled from the premises, because now these stores are starting to potentially use their stores as distribution centers. So if the distribution center doesn't have it, but the store has it, they'll ship it from the store. And then again, from my perspective, you're taking the merchandise off the floor that someone could have bought when they walked in, and now it's not there. I want that sale.
Absolutely. So you have anything worthwhile to add to that?
Well, I think that with the sales tax perspective, if the idea was I would pay percentage rent on whatever I pay sales tax on, that seems to me a fair approach, even as a tenant. Rosie doesn't like that approach, but I think that seems like a fair approach as a tenant.
Well,
Arbitrary, because that's the government deciding whether or not they're going to tax something, and if they want to, encourage retailers to be in that state or whatever, they may make decisions that have nothing to do with my economics and how I need to pay for my shopping center.
well, you got to wait.
At the end of the day, I think that it's all a little bit arbitrary. So we might as well choose this arbitrary thing instead of some other arbitrary thing.
And part of it may depend upon what your negotiating capital is.
Absolutely. That's what it's all going to come down to, leverage.
This show is brought to you by The Broker List, the CRE community's first free online platform for finding brokers, deals, services, and vendors. And Quantum Listing is the new mobile crowdsourced real estate listing app for commercial real estate agents, owners, and tenants. Howard F. Klein, attorney focusing on commercial real estate leasing, when experience counts.